Bringing all the
That's the vegetable patch. Get the lettuce once, Susie. Get the lettuce. Do you see any wheat? You see only moss.
it's really small. And you just want
That's the best one.
Charles' dinner or lunch. So the good old reliable HP curry, some of them damaged by the bird, it seems. But the best place for them is to grow them over the compost heap.
If you're starting out, that was what you had in his mind.
This is Charles Dowding's vegetable garden in Homeacres, Alhampton. This Alhampton is a little bit of a strange name. Why Alhampton? Is it Arabic or something? Phoenicians were in this area in the past. It's Lebanese. Great color, they say.
So we actually have some money left then. I think we recognise the road.
You see the solar panels on top of the building? That's such a small land, and you can make a food crop. And yet they have some space for what? Oh, look at these beans. Yellow climbing beans. Just because of the color. Beautiful color combinations with these charts. Can you find a single wheat here? This is an apple tree, and that's a roasted apple. All kind of chicories. Oh yeah, and French dwarf beans. And leeks as first and only crop. These are harvested. All the courgettes. This one is mulched because there are some weeds yet which are growing there through them. Endives. This is a new area, it has mulched. all the winter squashes. And this is a bed of the Jerusalem artichoke. The apple is not doing bad. Looking an apple. That's a polytunnel full of tomato. Let's go have a look. The smell of basil. I think the polytunnel is just a little bit bigger than ours. Probably 1.5 meters. And most of the tomatoes are harvested. I see one single large black Russian one. And those ones are the ones that we saw in the Italy. I have a video about it. And some peppers. And a good mulch. That's what we have done also. Without a tomato and aubergine in a pot on a compost heap with some squash, winter squash. Or are they? No, they look like melons. The melons he told you are not going to be well this year. In every space is just aubergine. I think my polytunnel is much better. Really, really good with my own hands. And basil. And some other. Oh! Bell pepper. It's really prolific. And some of that Cape gooseberry. And lots of basil. You should do a basil patch like this. The idea is that half of the polytunnel is vegetables and herbs. Sure. You don't do just all polytunnel taken by tomato. This is a new bed that I made for the BBC. I cut and screwed the size on the day before, just resting on the ground, okay, and topped it with compost. And then planted this for BBC. I see radishes, I see pak choy, I see this mustard, I see frilly mustard, some, I think this is broccoli, and some frilly mustard again, and then bok choy again. It's kind of oriental leaves. So that's what you will see in BBC. That is Charles Dowding's greenhouse, and you see more tomatoes here, and growing the seeds here, seedlings, and they're getting ready for it. Oh, look at the aubergines, I like that. And again, in the greenhouse, we see a balance between the amount of the rows of tomato and herbs like basil. Now, one row also of aubergine. This is the tallest aubergines I've seen so far. It looks like a commercial. vegetables. And at the end you see some peppers. And a big cucumber, but I don't think they're tasty. They look very tough. And here, triad bed, made in July, May 2015 for my online course. Yakun. Yakun is this kind of things from the Andes. Vulcan, yakun. It's a little shed, and then we come to the cabbages mixed with some flowers, and those are I think also those Andean thingies. Oka, I think. That's oka. And then some oriental leaves, then some chervil, I think, and then a courgette in that corner, and seedlings for the next generation. These are some of them, I think, are turnip or oriental leaf turnip. They can be oriental leaf. But he don't plant in rows, he plants in plugs. So he will not waste seeds. And a little bit of this hot plant. And a proper place for drying your onions. And some seeds growing here. This is also where Charles Dowding keeps his, that's a conservatory, keeps his chikuris there. The solar panel to provide some money for being off-grid. And that it shows himself very rare to be seen properly. Some carrots, some kale. Those are, I think, are the parsnip.
I'll send you an email. Yeah, great.
Hello, Charles.
How you doing?
Nice to see you, Charles.
Grabbing a picture.
Ideal. £20,000 he earns, Charles Dowding, he says, after paying for all the costs and tax and everything. And considering that you will also have your food and also you have your, after all this also, this is just from the land, the vegetables and everything. But considering that he also has courses and lectures and other things, so he will earn enough just to have a life. To enjoy life, you know, at the end of the day, the purpose is just doing what you like. He has done it in the Zimbabwe. He has done it in France, and now he's doing it. He has done it up to 3 years ago. He was somewhere else. Then he came here and settled here and just started again here.
It's often diluted.
Okay.
We're very surprised. It's so strong.
It's just been pasteurised, and that is brilliant.
This is a cooking apple that he recommends. I have one tree like this. Okay, this is a tree which stays here for many years, and that's another one. The distance between them is about 180 to 2 meters, 180. And this one just probably lasts one season or 1.5 season. So just using this space. And as you see here, there are parsnips. And they're using the space between them to grow some lovely pumpkins and winter squashes. Different kind of apples, and again the winter squash. Oh, look at this asparagus bed. Probably I should have asked Charles to talk over this. When I was talking with him, I should have filmed it. But Charles has had some videos explaining what he is doing. But seeing the vegetables in first hand, for example, this gooseberry, something else. Look at this. And this giant onion, just lonely here. And a bed full of rhubarb and raspberries and onions between them, using the space. That's my idea. Intensive gardening, horticulture. And here we are back with the chickpeas. And at this stage is producing something. I experimented with many pumpkins, and I found uchikikuri, Moscow de Provence, and some other ones are really good to grow. Autumn raspberries are doing now. They're getting ready. Quite a large size. Love this mass of the lush asparagus. What dense it is. It's taller than me. They're well established here. And these balotti beans, they're ahead of ours. Beautiful. And this is the back of the compost heaps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So whatever you invest in compost practically is not wasted. The space is perfect. And this part of it can be used for drying the onions. African caterpillar in Charles Dowding's
If
garden.
I Google it, because
And,
just hawk
when you
moths
look
is a
at it,
brown
remember
version
it
of
was
that with like
eating
a
all the
spike,
Charles's
actual spike.
With a
vegetables.
caterpillar that big, it's going to be big, isn't it?
God,
Not
it's
particularly
massive.
Because if
nice.
you think of something like a, I don't know, a red admiral.
Size of a
or something,
finger,
you have
almost.
the caterpillar
Yeah, yeah,
for
we were
that
walking
is
past.
quite
Do you want me to move my
small.
hand?
No, that's all right. Whenever you want, yes.
thought we'd better tell
That's what was a scale. Now we have the scale.
Well,
No,
Jim,
thank you very
sorry.
much.
I'm really happy because I'm noticing a lot less insects this year than normal.
I'm interested to hear you saying that.
Okay, dig and no dig methods. He's talking about Charles Dowding. Okay, he says that there is not much difference practical in the harvest, month of the harvest, the weight of it each year. But the effort you do in digging is the extra job that you impose on yourself. So why bother? That makes logic to me because I started like that actually. But then, because I had to work and other things, life commitments, I could not really keep on the top of the weeds. So, anyway.
She looks really happy at what you're saying, and you look really demonstrated.
You have your baby now, huh? Baby pressed apple juice.
Oh, that's not in space. Probably got a few bones in it.
There are no worms, they are.
Organic matter.
No, they are just things from the apple. Your granddad, huh?
Yes, you can see.
Oh, he's growing some tomatoes outside. That's good actually to know that how they will survive.
No sign of blight.
Inside the polytunnel, inside the greenhouse, and look at this aubergine. Really good size, and yet more continue coming. What he has done, he has kept it dry here, and then cutting the leaves and branches which are under the fruiting terrace. So that's the first terrace here. So anything under it is cut because they're not producing anything. I did it once like that, and what happened was that I ended up with blight because water was seeping from here.
That's all for the back here.
What's the compost toilet? Let us see how it looks inside. Oh, wood saw. Oh, so simple. And there is some deodorant. Should I lift the lid and see how it looks?
You just go to the toilet, put the wood chip in, and then you just put it out here and compost it.
Three. You can have a conversation, three-way conversation.
Well, you
Three
certainly can,
toilets.
because they will say what you have and you don't have to come in. Then you can survive anywhere you go.
So practically with this you don't need water. So you will have compost also here,
Yeah,
manure.
certainly can. Sorry.
So you take it out from there, huh?
Yeah, that's the little toilet. Well, you take
That's
out the
interesting.
bucket.
Compost toilet in Charles Dowding's home acres small holding. They don't keep any chicken here, so that's a good source of manure, human manure also.
Yeah, well, I suppose you would have to.
So that is aerated here also, and also the fumes and gases and everything goes up like that, back into the nature. Charles's home, a little bit lawn, some fruit trees. That looks kids orange red. And a few flowers. And a few bags of compost. And that is the end of our visit to the homemakers where Charles Dowding grows his vegetables. in the 4th of the September 2016. Now heading back.